Today's lesson is going to be all about how to take our skills knowledge of solving systems, that entire refresher week that we just finished, and learning how to apply it to real-world scenarios. First, we're just going to look at standard form systems. The strategy we can write in 3 very concrete steps. Step number 1, we will underline the question. To know how to define the variables, and then define them. So underline the question to know how to define the variables and then define them. Step 2, we will mentally, I'm going to start writing over here because I don't want to run out of space, mentally group what goes together. Mentally group what goes together. So for example, cost of shirts plus cost for pants, I'll use a $sign for cost, equals total cost. So that would be grouping money plus money equals total money. And then finally, step 3, write the 2 equations and solve. The general standard form system will look like ax plus by equals c. And then again, ax plus by equals c. That's why we call it a standard form system, because it's made up of 2 equations in standard form. Let's learn by practice. Taking a look at our first example, Missy Elliott loves to shop at Evelyn's. Last Saturday, she bought pants and shirts for her new video. Each shirt cost $125 and each pair of pants cost $225. She came home with 26 items and spent exactly $4,950. How many pants and shirts did Missy buy? So following our steps, the first thing we're going to do is what? Underline the question. So let's do that. Underline the question. How many pants and shirts did Missy buy? That will tell us how to define our variables. So let's see, what are our unknowns? How many pants and how many shirts? So X will be number of pants. Y is going to be number of shirts. So we've completed step 1. We underlined our question to know how to define the variables, and we defined them. Step 2 says to mentally group what goes together. So if I see money is present here, so we want to get everything about money in one equation. Shirts cost $125. $125 per shirt. I don't know how many she bought. Careful. Each shirt. Did anybody catch what I just did wrong? X is pants. So I can't use 125. Let's back up. What do we know about pants? A pair of pants costs $225. So it should be 225X plus, now let's see if we can use the information about shirts. Shirts are $125 each, and Y is about shirts. So plus 125Y equals. So money plus money equals total money. What's the total money? Exactly $4,950. You can even give this equation a label. This was about money. Well, we need a second system for our equation. So what else do we have here? She came home with 26 items. Can we use that? So this is saying that the number of pairs of pants she bought and the number of pairs of shirts, not pairs, the number of pairs of pants and the total number of shirts that she bought equals 26. Well, the number of pants is represented by X, and the number of shirts is represented by Y, and I know in total she bought 26. So mentally you can think number plus number equals total number. So this equation is all about the number that she bought. Number of pants plus number of shirts equals 26. We have mentally grouped what goes together, and we've written our system, which is part of step 3. Now that we've written it, let's solve it. This is a standard form system. So think to yourself from last week, when we have standard form, what method is preferable? If you just said elimination, you're right. So decide, do you want x's to cancel or y's to cancel? It doesn't matter what you choose, we should get the same answer. I'm thinking I would like my x's to cancel. So if this is a positive 225x, I need this to be negative 225x. I can get that by multiplying this entire equation by negative 225. So let's see what we get. The top equation is going to stay the same. We're not touching that. What does the bottom equation become? Negative 225 times x is negative 225x. Negative 225 times a positive y is negative 225y equals, and if you didn't get your calculator out yet, press pause, go get your calculator. We're going to be using it a lot. Negative 225 times 26 equals, I think that I got 125 times 26. Negative 3,250. Is that what you got? Hopefully. Now we're ready to see what happens when we linearly combine. If we did our multiplication right, we should end up with inverses that cancel, and I do. 225x and negative 225x cancels. A positive 125 in your calculator minus 225, what do you get? I get negative 100. Negative 100y equals, and then 4,950 minus 3,250 equals 1,700. I just paused the video for a second because I realized I made a calculator mistake. Did anybody find it? It was when I did negative 225, so 225 times 26. Should be 5,850. See, teachers make mistakes too. So this is negative 5,850. And then 4,950 minus 5,850. Okay, there we go. So this equals negative 900. Now, you might be asking yourself, why did I pause it and start looking? Because this is a real-world scenario, and when I did my original math, I was getting a positive answer here, and I was about to divide by a negative. So I would have gotten positive divided by a negative is negative. You can't have negative shirts. So right there, that said to, in my brain, I think I did something wrong. So as you're working, pay attention, because ultimately we should be getting positive answers. There's no such thing as negative shirts or negative pants. It's part of being conscious about what we write. So dividing both sides by negative 100, negative 900 divided by negative 100, y equals 9. We've got y, we need to go find x. It does not matter which I choose to substitute into. I will choose the second equation, so x plus y equals 26. This will become x plus 9 equals 26. And to solve that, we just need to subtract 9 from both sides. X equals 17. What does this mean? Well, to know what this means, we need to look at our variables. X represents pants, so Missy bought 17 pairs of pants. And Y represents shirts, and 9 shirts. And we're done. Taking a look at number 2, we're going to apply the same steps. You're in charge of decorating the gym for homecoming. You purchased 6 bags of balloons and 5 bags of large sparkling hanging stars, all for $19.20. You soon realized that this was not enough to decorate the entire gym. On your second trip to the store, you bought 8 bags of balloons and 2 bags of large sparkling hanging stars, all for $15.80. What was the price of each item? Go back, look at the front page. What does your first step say to do? Go look. It says, underline the question to know how to define the variables and then define them. Let's do that. The question is, what was the price for each item? That helps me know how to define my variables because it's telling me what the unknown is. The price of each item. What were the items they bought? They bought balloons, so let's say X equals the price for a bag of balloons. And what else were they buying to decorate the gym? Bags of balloons and bags of large sparkling hanging stars. So Y will be the price of a bag of stars. We have successfully defined our variables. What does step 2 say? Mentally group what goes together, and that's going to help us get our equations. And then finally, we'll write them and solve. So let's see what we can group together. There's 2 pieces to what we're told. How many trips to the store did you make? Well, you went once and you bought this many and that's how much it cost. But then you realized you didn't get enough, so you went back. So we've got 2 trips to the store. So we will have an equation for trip 1 and trip 2. You made 2 trips. Let's see what we can say about your first trip to the store. You purchased 6 bags of balloons and 5 bags of stars, and that cost you $19.20. So 5 bags of balloons times some cost you don't know, plus how many bags of stars? Wait, back it up. Trip 1. 6 bags of balloons, 6 bags of balloons times some cost you don't know. And then how many bags of stars? 6 bags of balloons, 5 bags of stars, plus 5y equals some total cost. What was your cost for the first trip? $19.20. Pause the video here and see if you can write the equation for trip 2, your second trip to the store. Your second trip, you bought 8 bags of balloons, so 8 bags times a cost you don't know, plus 2 bags of stars, and you don't know how much those cost either, but you do know that you spent $15.80. We have our system. We're ready to solve. Again, this is a standard form system, so Well, let's use elimination. Do you want x's to cancel or y's to cancel? Nothing stands out as particularly better than another approach. To get x's to cancel, think to yourself, what's the smallest value that 6 and 8 divide into evenly? 24, I'm thinking. So we'd have to multiply this by 4, this by -3 to get 24s. Or if I wanted my y's to cancel, I would have what as a goal? The smallest number that 2 and 5 divide into evenly is what? 10? I think 10 would work. Let's go for that. Let's get our y's to cancel. If you choose to get your x's to cancel, no problem. Pause here, you do yours, and then jump and see if your answer matches mine. I'm going to choose to get the y's to cancel. So my goal is 10. To make that happen, 5 times 2 is 10. And then I need this to be a -10. It's a positive, so I don't have to multiply by a negative. Negative what? 2 times -5. Remember, we can't just multiply one term. We have to multiply the whole equation. So my top equation becomes 12x plus 10y equals $19.20. True or false? I hope we're saying false. What did I do that needs to get changed? Because I see you guys doing this. What is wrong with 1920? I should be doing 2 times 1920 is 38.4. So remember, distribute that value on the outside to all terms of your equation. My second equation, -5 times 8x is a -40x. -5 times a positive 2y, -10y equals. And then let's see. I'm not going to do the negative in my calculator. I know that my answer is going to be negative because it's a negative times a positive. So I'm just going to use my calculator to do 5 times 15.8. I got 79. I have to remember to make that negative. So -79. Let's see what happens when we linearly combine these. My y's are gone. 10y minus 10y is 0. 12x minus 40x. So 12 minus 40 is -28x equals 38.4 minus 79 equals -40.6. To wrap this up, we will divide both sides by -28. So mentally, I know negative divided by a negative is a positive. So the only thing I'm going to put in my calculator is 40.6 divided by 28. And I get a decimal. I get 1.45. What does that answer mean? Is it okay that I got a decimal? Well, when I go back and I look at how we defined our variables, x represents the cost of a bag of balloons. So does this answer make sense? Yes, because we're saying $1.45 for each bag of balloons. So I know the cost of the balloons. How am I going to find out about the stars? It does not matter which equation we go back and use. Go ahead and make your choice. Do you want the first or the second? I would ask that you pause the video here and fully work on your own with how to find the cost of the stars. And then we'll compare answers. So I think I'm going to choose to work with the first equation. Just because, no particular reason, doesn't matter which one I picked. Where I see x, I will substitute in 1.45 plus 5y equals 1920. Let's see, using my calculator, 6 times 1.45, I get 8.7. plus 5y equals 1920. To solve, we will subtract 8.7 from both sides. $19.2 minus 8.7 is 10.5. Now we will finish this up by dividing both sides by 5. 10.5 divided by 5 is, what'd you get? I got 2.1. What does this answer mean? Well, again, y represents the cost of a bag of stars, so 2.1 in terms of money, $2.10 for each bag of hanging stars. Awesome. Number 3. Anna just found out more information on her upcoming science test. The test has 25 questions for a total score of 150 points. Among the 25 questions, each of the multiple choice questions are worth 3 points, and each open-ended question is worth 8 points. How many multiple choice questions and open-ended questions are there in the test? First step, who remembers what it is? What's our first step? Underline the question. Underlining the question would be doing this right here. How many multiple choice questions and open-ended are there on the test? Now that I have underlined the question, we are going to define the variable. So x equals, y equals. How many multiple choice questions? That's an unknown. So let's let x equal number of multiple choice questions. What's the other unknown? How many multiple choice and open-ended. So y is the unknown number of open-ended questions. Fantastic. We've underlined our question. We've defined our variables. Let's start mentally grouping what goes together. When told the test has 25 questions for a total score of 150 points, among the 25 questions, I've got the information about multiple choice questions. Those are worth 3 points. Open-ended is worth 8 points. So this sticks out to me. I've got knowledge about points. So one of my equations is going to be about point value. So for point value, let's go look again. Multiple choice, those are worth 3 points. So 3 points times some number of multiple choice, I don't know, but they're 3 points each. Plus, how about those open-ended? How much are the open-ended worth? Each open-ended is worth 8 points. So 8 points times some number I don't know. I don't know how many open-ended, but I do know they're 8 points each. So points plus points equals what's total points? How many points on this test? 150. So here's our first equation all about points. Now, once you use that information, you can't go use it again, okay? So you can almost like mentally cross that off. I wouldn't scribble it out because you want to still be able to read it, but you can kind of just check off what we used. What we just lightly put a slash through, we used to write this equation. What else do we know? We know that the test has 25 questions total. And then I look at my variables. X is the number of multiple choice and Y is the number of open-ended. Some combination of these two values will equal 25. So my second equation is going to be about number of questions on this test. The number of multiple choice plus the number of open-ended equals a total number of 25 questions. So number plus number equals total number. Direct connection to the fact that the variables each represent a certain number of questions. We've got our system. We're ready to solve. We are going to use elimination. It would be great if you pause the video right here and you take this start to finish. Make a choice. Do you want x's to cancel? Do you want y's to cancel? Find x or find y, and then go find your other variable. And what does it mean in the real world? What's the real world meaning? I choose to have, what's my choice? I think I'm going to get x's to cancel. So I see that I have a positive 3x here, which means I need this to be a negative 3x. I will get that to happen by multiplying through by negative 3. So my new system becomes 3x plus 8y equals 150. My second system is negative 3x minus 3y equals, what's negative 3 times 25? Negative 75. And now let's see what happens when we linearly combine these. Well, 3x minus 3x, that's gone. That's 0. How about 8y minus 3y? 8y minus 3y is 5y equals 150 minus 75. 150 minus 75 equals 75. We'll divide both sides by 5. 75 divided by 5 is 15. I have y, I need x. I choose to use the second equation, x plus y equals 25. So this becomes x plus 15 equals 25. To solve this, we'll subtract 15 from both sides. X equals 10. So we have our math answer, but now how do we say what this means in the real world? When I look up here, y is the number of open-ended. So that means that there are 15 open-ended questions. And then x equals 10, so there are 10 multiple choice questions. 10 multiple choice. And we're finished. Next is the homework. This will be in class tomorrow. I will scroll back here in case anybody still needs to catch up. If you're not done writing the real world meaning, go ahead and pause right here. If you do have a little time, it would be nice for you to start at least considering maybe the setup for number 1 and how you would define variables. And then we can check in with each other tomorrow in class. Have a great day, everybody.
Tomorrow.